The Israeli Narrations, Isra'iliyat, regarding the story of the Prophet Ayoub, peace be upon him. Among the tales that have been amplified by those who delve into them and exploited by storytellers, who have given free rein to their imaginations, is the story of Prophet Ayoub, peace be upon him. In it, they narrate things that God has preserved his prophets from. Prophet Ayoub was a generous and pious man who worshipped the Almighty Allah. He fulfilled his duties towards God and the rights of people. God was pleased with him, thankful to God, worshipping him, and obedient to the extent that the angels in the heavens prayed for him and invoked blessings upon him. However, Satan heard the praise and prayers of the angels for Ayoub, peace be upon him, and became envious. He said to God, "If you were to take away these blessings, Ayoub would abandon his worship and gratitude to you." So, God allowed Satan to test Ayoub and to examine his faith. Narrated by Ahmad in al-Zuhud, Ibn Abi Hatim, and Ibn Asakir from Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with them both, who said, Satan ascended to the heavens and said, O Lord, grant me authority over Ayoub, peace be upon him. Allah said, I have granted you authority over his wealth and his children, but I have not granted you authority over his body. So Satan descended and gathered his forces, saying, I have been granted authority over Ayoub. Satan said, Show me your power. They transformed into fires and then into water, moving from east to west and back. Satan sent some of them to his crops, some to his family, some to his cattle, and some to his sheep. He said, None of you can harm him except by performing acts of kindness. So they afflicted him with calamities, one after the other. The man responsible for his crops came and said, O Ayoub, have you not seen that your Lord has sent an enemy upon your crops? And so he took them. Then the one responsible for his camels came and said, O Ayoub, have you not seen that your Lord has sent an enemy upon your camels? And so he took them. The same happened with his cattle, and finally, he was left with his children. They were gathered in his largest house, eating and drinking, when a wind suddenly came and knocked down the walls of the house, killing them all. Then Satan came to Ayoub in the form of a wise man and said, O Ayoub, have you not seen that your Lord has gathered your children in the largest house, and while they were eating and drinking, a wind came and destroyed the house upon them? Ayoub said, You are Satan. Then he said, Today I am like the day my mother gave birth to me. He stood up, shaved his head, and began to pray. Satan let out a scream that was heard by the inhabitants of the heavens and the earth. He went to the heavens and said, O Lord, he has sought refuge. Give me authority over him, for I can only harm him through your authority. Allah said, I have granted you authority over his body, but I have not granted you authority over his heart. So Satan descended, blew under his feet, and caused a wound from his foot to his head, leaving one single wound. Ayoub was covered in ash until the core of his heart was exposed. His wife came to him, and he was in such a state that he could barely move. She said, O Ayoub, do you not see that Allah has afflicted me, and I have sold my hair to buy you some bread so that you can eat? He replied, May Allah have mercy on you, we were in prosperity for 70 years, so be patient with me for 70 years in adversity. He remained in hardship for 7 years, praying. Then, one day, Gabriel, peace be upon him, came to him, took him by the hand, and said, Stand up. Ayoub stood, and he was moved from his place. Gabriel said, Run with your foot, and he ran, and a spring gushed forth. Gabriel said, Wash yourself with it. He did, and another spring gushed forth. Gabriel said, Drink from it. This is when Allah said in Surah Sad, and remember our servant Job, when he called to his Lord, Indeed, Satan has touched me with hardship and torment. Strike the ground with your foot, this is a cold bath and drink. Allah then clothed him with a garment from paradise. Ayoub moved aside and sat down, and his wife came, not recognizing him. She said, O servant of Allah, where is the afflicted one who was here? Perhaps the dogs or wolves have taken him and made him their prey. She spoke to him for a while, and then he revealed himself. I am Ayoub. Allah has restored my body, and He has returned to me my wealth and children in good health, as well as others similar to them. Narrated by Ahmad in al-Zuhud, from Abdullah ibn Jubair, may Allah be pleased with him, who said, Ayoub was tested with his wealth, his children, his body, and he was thrown into a garbage heap. His wife would come out and earn what she could to feed him. The devil envied him for that. Good and wealthy people would come, and the devil would say, drive away this woman who deceives you. She treats her husband and heals him, and people stay away from you because of her. They are depriving you of your food. So they distanced her from themselves and said, go away, while we provide for you, and do not come near us. What we must believe is that he was indeed tested, but his trial did not reach the extent of these fabricated stories, such as him being afflicted with leprosy, his body turning into sores, and being thrown into a heap of filth. Nor did he endure the disease of smallpox. Allah honored Ayoub, peace be upon him, far beyond being thrown into filth or afflicted with an ailment that would cause people to distance themselves from his teachings and be repulsed by him. What benefit would come from his message while he was in such a repugnant state, which Allah does not approve for his prophets and messengers? Prophets are sent from the midst of their people. Where were his tribe and his family to offer him shelter and feed him? Instead, his wife, whom people were hesitant to approach, was serving him and even selling her own hair to provide food for him. Where were his followers, the believers who should have stood by him during his ordeal? How could they abandon him in his time of trial when such an action contradicts faith? The Israeli Narrations, Isra'iliyat, regarding the story of the Prophet Ayoub, peace be upon him,